just wanted to give you a bit of an update. It's it's 250 something miles later, and I am still tramping up this snowy road. This is Dempster Highway. Now, it's hard to tell here from what you can see in your screen. It's actually hard to tell from being in the driver's seat. But you might just be able to see as we crest the thing here. The snow, when it's not been driven over, is about 8 to 10 inches deep here, and I'm jingling along at 100 kilometres an hour or so, give or take. I'm trying to drive a little bit in the ruts that have already been driven, but of course every now and then I'll pass something and that's not possible, and sometimes the ruts aren't in the right place for my line, so you know I can come in and out of it basically. I just wanted to report a very peculiar sort of thing that's happening. I'm in grass, gravel and snow mode here, and I've been trying to figure out what's going on, because there's a number of things happening. The first thing is that, probably in virtue of the wheelbase being a little longer than anticipated, get out of the rut, there we go, or get into the rut. In virtue of the wheelbase being a little longer than on the other Defenders and on my Range Rover, it feels a little like the back end wants to come round on you from time to time. This is most noticeable, of course, when you're pushing it into a curve. But I don't know whether that's actually what's going on, because the steering is sort of doing stuff, and the best thing I can possibly sort of suggest is that it's doing electronic gizmoing. I have a feeling that the electronic steering is assisting and resisting when I am trying to turn the steering wheel perhaps a bit too sharply as what it might expect, and would generally cause I guess you would call it understeer, wouldn't you, really? You know, is what happens when you overturn on snow. And by understeer, what I mean, I think I'm using the right term, but maybe I'm not. I think what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, you turn your steering wheel and you turn it a bit more and you turn it a bit more and you keep going straight. Now I think it's happening here, look. I think that this is some electronic gizmoing that is attempting to overcompensate or compensate for a turn that would cause a slide. You know, as your momentum carries into your corner, you would break away and cause a slide. Now, what it does, of course, is it sort of makes you turn the steering wheel a bit more, or it feels like that anyway. I don't know whether that's actually what's going on or not, but it sort of feels a bit like that. Feels like there's some resistance, it feels like there's a bit of resistance against the steering when you're trying to turn a little bit. Not that it's a terrible thing, and you can sort of get the impression that the Land Rover's trying to help you. It's sort of, you know, you get the overall feeling that the Land Rover's like, no, steady on, chap, no, you can't turn that quickly, you'll end up in the bush. And the other thing that happens that I've noticed in the grass, gravel and snow mode, which is intended, is that it does not let you accelerate heavily in the curve. So if you have a constant throttle position holding, let's say with your foot, and you go round a corner, you can tell the car's backing off. I'm being dragged into the fresh snow. You can tell I feel a bit like Jeremy Clarkson. Down into the fresh, it's all power. It feels like it feels like your throttle's been taken away from you and then sort of given back to you without you actually moving your foot. Now, this is probably more electronic gadgetry that is sort of saying, nope, you're in a corner here. I am detecting some yaw in the vehicle, and you need to back off the throttle, Captain, because you'll end up in a bush. So what I'm trying to say is, throughout the whole experience in grass, gravel and snow, you get the overall feeling that the vehicle is outthinking you. and is really protecting you from the potential of any slips, really. And I'm pushing it a bit too much, really. I mean, I don't suppose you're meant to career along here at 110 kilometres an hour, are you, with 8 inches of snow? But we're doing all right. So I think the grass, gravel and snow mode's really like top banana, to be honest. The last time I used it on my L322, it was a bit annoying, because it would detect yaw, or it would detect a slip, and then it would take your throttle altogether off you, and you wouldn't be able to power out of it, or you wouldn't be able to apply a bit more juice to give you some grip, or, you know, and having some, I mean, I'm not the world's best driver, but having some training here and there, and a bit of experience on the Schnee, it was a bit frustrating, because I knew I could give it a little bit more gas to help me round a corner or something, and the power would be gone. That's a DSC thing, I guess, on the old car. Now there's still DSC, dynamic stability control, on here, and I should imagine it's even more complex and more technologically advanced. But the reality of the situation is that it's outstanding. It's just got the right amount of grip and the right amount of sort of control, and it pulls my beans when I need it to pull my beans, and it sort of just, and it gives me the gas when I want the gas, and frankly it's just superb. Now I have also tried it in the comfort mode, because that's sort of oh, I say the road's gone, can't see a thing, and the camera's focused on the, see the camera focused then on the heated windshield. So I tried it in the standard mode, or comfort mode, or whatever you want to call that, and it was certainly a little more positive, and it was clearly less locked up, I think, and less sensitive to slip. It was sliding a little bit in corners, and it was moving a bit. This big spot on the left hand side here, I don't know if you can see it, it's airstrip, and on, if you carry on further on the Dempster up towards the Yukon, you actually drive over it. There's a big strip like this, but you drive right through the middle, and it says it's an airstrip. That's an airstrip, just in case there's an emergency and they have to airstrip. I don't know what they have to airlift people in and out, or whatever. So with the comfort mode, I did get the impression that it was sliding a little bit more in corners, or at least it felt like it was, and even though I would like to say that I prefer to drive with things a little bit more slippy, so I've got a bit more control, the reality is I feel better in the grass, gravel and snow mode, because I've got this underlying feeling that Finn is thinking very quickly, and far more quickly than me. Now, I would imagine that if I was Mika Häkkinen, or whatever his name was, the rally dude, or the other Finnish chap with an unpronounceable name, if I was them and had even more skill in the snow and the gravel and stuff than I actually do, I would imagine that this might be a bit frustrating. But the reality is that I've got some skills on snow, and I've got some skills on gravel, and I've got quite a bit of experience here, there and everywhere, but I still like to have a limit to my stupidity, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. And Finn is I get the feeling underneath that there's magic going on. That's what I'm trying to say. There's stuff happening underneath that's stopping me being a complete Burke, or at least making a Burke-like manoeuvre, and that's that. So that's what I've got to say about driving on snow at 110 kilometres an hour. Now you can see we've thinned out a bit here, we've only got about 6 inches here, but coming back up there past the sort of 100 miles back, I did go through an area with a footerball, and the tyres, I've done another thing on the tyres altogether, but the tyres, I think the tyres are a little bit responsible for some lateral shift that I perhaps wouldn't have experienced with the Nokians on. But like I mentioned in the other video, and you can tune to that, there'll be a link popped up when I can't point my finger like I normally do, because I'm holding the steering wheel with both hands. but there'll be a link popped up if you want to see that. It's about the tyres, but what I'm about to tell you is very briefly, you can't have a tyre that does everything, and so there are no dedicated winters in this size. So Nokian doesn't make them, and Cooper Weathermaster aren't a thing anymore. The Cooper do make a thing, but they're not in this size, and so your basic options are the Duratrack, the KO2, this, or some Nitto thing or whatever they were. Now you can't see, but this is Tombstone. Tombstone's an area with a big hill in it. This video's rambling on again. Firthy's gone off on one. It was going to be a very short thing on the snow handling of the thing, but the reality is that Firthy's on a ramble. So this area is called Tombstone. Now you can't see it because it's snow. And round here we're surrounded by massive mountains, which are absolutely awesome. I will snap to a couple of photographs. I was hoping to take some drone footage today, and I charged all my batteries up to do some drone footage here. What is going on, Stephen? Tidy up here. Drive, bloody hell. By the drivers, nearly either then old lad was sliding around a ton. Now, I was going to take some drone footage, but the reality of the situation, well, I still could take some drone footage, but it won't be very exciting. It'll be Firthy in the snowdrift. And if I drive while I'm trying to steer the drone, it'll be Firthy in the snowdrift in the snowbank. That's what that'll be. So I'm not going to do that. I have taken some snow footage further on back up near the river, because it was purdy. But what we've got here is just, you can see here on the left hand side, we've got about a foot of snow, just on banks. You know, perhaps you can't on camera, but any road, that's what we get. Foot of snow or so, and it's a bit compressed here, so it's a touch sliding. You've got more control, of course, haven't you, when you're in the fresh snow, as is always the case. The old them top fin bananas that I know, and a part of my group they'll be like, yeah, I don't know exactly what this is going on. I should mention that, having just given a shout out to the Finnish contingent, I should just mention that the type of snow we get here isn't like the type of snow in England or the type of snow in Finland. This is a very dry snow. It's a very fluffy sort of light snow, and it's very sort of slippy slidey, because there's no like British snow will pull you in a bit, and this will pull you in a bit, but it sort of slides with it, because it's like very flat crystals. They're not sort of whatever shape they are in England, that sort of gathers together. This is a very sort of slippy slidey stuff, and when it compresses, when you've had somebody driven over it, it was very shiny, like it does in sort of northern Finland. Very shiny, very compressed, and it sort of it was very slidey then, and that's why the Finnish have those Nokian studded tyres that I should probably get next year. So it is a little like that, and you can see here the dark bits in the road. That's actually compressed snow and sort of compacted ice, I suppose is what you would want to call it. And so it's a bit slippy. Anyway, that's what I've got to say, and I'm going to shore up now before I end up in a bank somewhere, and then have to do a video on how good the Land Rover is at getting out of a snowy ditch.